Hello, everyone. I'm Colin, Tessier, WrestleZone.com, joined by John Clark tonight to talk about WWE NXT 2.0. John, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday evening?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Well, I'll say mixed. I guess, as a general disclaimer, I was just telling John, so not to be repetitive with him, but I missed the first. Not the first hour, but I missed a solid chunk of the first hour. I was on an interview hyping up Ring of Honor Final Battle this weekend, so I was not able to literally watch the first hour for the most part. I called the steel cage match, open the show for the most part. Did not catch some of the other things in the second half of the first hour, but then I called the entire second hour, so that's why we're still here and not postponing. I hate postponing on you guys. I try and make every show that I can, and even if it's something like this. Things come up, we try to press on as best we can. I call it the big things. I call it whatever you want to call happened with Johnny Gargano at the end of the show. Don't you worry, we'll talk all about it. I have a lot to say. Before we do, just to remind you all this show, again, we do here is available on all of our streaming platforms, so on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, whatever it may be, we've got you covered. And right off the bat, Maya Lee is saying they love NXT LOL. I don't know if that's sarcasm. For me, maybe I'm projecting. I think that's sarcasm because I don't love NXT anymore, my friends. If you do, like we talked about this yesterday, DHGSC8 gave Raw a 9.75. If you're loving this stuff, more power to you. That is what I always say. Like, you go for it, you enjoy it, because that's what we do here. We try to enjoy this stuff. Herman and saying it was a good show. I don't know.
To each his own.
To each his own. For me, I maybe do a fault. I am very much biased by any show. If it ends on a very good note, I'm gonna come out of the show feeling pretty darn good. If it ends on a pretty crappy note, I'm gonna come out of the show feeling pretty crappy. And that is exactly what Brian Everett is saying here. He's saying, "Hey guys, oh man, Johnny did not deserve that at the end. So let's dive right in because I have thoughts. I'm sure John, you do too. So as we all know." Lots of uncertainty about Johnny Gargano. Nobody knows what his future holds. His contract reportedly expired earlier this month already, and then he signed a one week extension. And last time we checked, last we heard, he was still negotiating for that. For a new contract. He was still weighing his options. Like no firm decision had been made either way. So obviously, we talked about WarGames on Sunday with the 2.0 team of young guys going over and kind of firmly ending the black and gold era. But after the show, Johnny Gargano said he would tell fans everything, presumably related to his future, tonight on NXT. And he kind of did, but not really. He looked back on his run in NXT, the run that he has had, his humble beginnings, the heights that he enjoyed, the support of the fans. We even got a cameo from his wonderful dog, Padme. Much love for that wonderful dog. So he comes out at the end of the show, talking about all this stuff, a very emotional message. The man comes out and he's already like tearful. He's already like pretty much crying, and I'm like I don't know. Is he going to say he's leaving? I don't know. They got giving this very emotional message, and then admittedly, the crowd kind of choreographed it. They were kind of like reacting to something, not what he was saying. They were reacting to something happening. The camera panned kind of like close in on him as that was happening, and lo and behold, he got attacked by Grayson Waller. John Grayson Waller. Now I know some people in the chat. Nesha, I think, has before said that she's been a fan of Grayson Waller. Grayson was in the WarGames match on Sunday. Grayson is one of the new guys here on NXT 2.0. They're trying to establish they did not have to do Johnny Gargano like this. I wish they didn't, because he even said himself, like he said, he does not know what his short-term future holds. In February, he will start the most important job there is of being a father. So we at least know that will be a thing, and that might prompt him to take time off, or he might just take time to do that for a while. But we didn't really get an answer about what exactly he will be doing, whether he's leaving NXT, going to the main roster. But Grayson Waller beats the man down after he gave this emotional speech, and then he powerbombed him through an announce table after kind of like snapping his neck in a chair. So very clearly, Gargano will be taking time off. But this infuriated me in a sense of like, you don't know if Gargano's going to stay, at least as we see. Maybe for all we know, maybe they do, right? Maybe I'm wrong. But from the fans' perspective of, we don't know if he's staying or going. So this very well could be the last time he'll be on WWE TV on NXT. I thought he deserved better than this, and I wasn't a fan about it. John, what do you think about it?
Well, it's certainly a regularity to have a wrestler get beat down or take a loss like this at the end of their time. This could have simply been all that was is not a passing of the torch, but a vintage write off. Waller, um, I'll be honest, as many people on Twitter were, and I don't know if I should feel bad for this or not. I didn't know who it was. Honestly, I did not know who it was
Hey,
until I got on Twitter and saw people saying that it was Grayson Waller. So one thing is certain, and that is the fact that Grayson Waller will never be a babyface now.
no.
Waller gets the heat moving forward. Uh, this left a lot of questions because it didn't answer or confirm whether or not Gargano re-signed or is leaving. He could have re-signed and possibly not main roster, but will stay in NXT and kind of help build younger stars such as Waller. But as far as the actual promo itself, I thought it was classy for them to do this to give Gargano time to kind of break that fourth wall. They don't really do that very often. I think Edge had done it recently, and I can't. Daniel Bryan might. I don't even know if he did it, but I can't remember the last time anybody really did something like this. I thought it was pretty touching, and it just solidified what everybody thought, that Gargano was the face of NXT. And I stand by this today, that the best wrestling match I have ever seen in my life includes Johnny Gargano and NXT WarGames, or not NXT WarGames, NXT Takeover Philadelphia whenever he wrestled Andrade. That is the best match I've ever seen in my life, in person or on TV. And I thought this kind of even further migrates away from Tommaso and Johnny being the faces of NXT, and literally, we know Pete Dunne re-signed. He's not going anywhere, so I'll exclude him. But Tommaso may be the last one standing in regards to questions on the future. We know Roderick and Dunne are staying. Gargano is, and he said it February, so he still has over 2 months before the kid's actually born. So you got to think, well, when the kid's born and stuff and taking care of that, it very well could be 6 months before he decides what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So by that point, Waller could be he could be a big guy. He could be still where he's at now. He could be released. Who knows? I mean, it's we'll see what happens there. But talking points I had coming out of this one were: one, Grayson Waller is a clear heel now, and he instantly shot to be one of the top heels in NXT. Secondly, no clear answer on Gargano's future, which is contrary to what we're going to talk about later, somebody else's future, that we've got a pretty obvious answer of what's going to happen there.
Absolutely, and we will get there. But lots of comments about all of the Gargano situation here, and I definitely like this one from Brian Everett saying Cole versus Gargano at Takeover New York is his all-time favorite Gargano match. That's probably mine. I miss Gargano's maybe the early part of his kind of peak in NXT, the Andrade match, that kind of run there.
I was at that one too.
Yeah, but I loved that one with Cole. I thought that was that stretch of NXT there remains my favorite for the brand. That's why I loved NXT. And now here we are. Not going to go into there, but for Gargano here, DJ is saying doesn't sound to him like Gargano was leaving. It just seems like he's going on paternity leave. Maybe he'll come back, destroy Waller after that. But O'Reilly's gone. DJ, I brought up your Raw rating because we appreciate the positivity. I mean that sincerely. I mean, I said that as to say hey, I didn't really enjoy the show tonight, but that if someone else out there says, oh, I thought it was great, it's all subjective. That's all I was meaning by that. But definitely sounds like he's agreeing with the idea that maybe Gargano will be taking time to be a father and then going from there. Steven believing maybe on the kind of contrast of what we're seeing otherwise, that both O'Reilly and Gargano will be taking time off and that both will come back. We'll talk about O'Reilly in a minute here. Again, more thoughts about Gargano. Nestor also predicted that he would be going home to be with his wife, at least for now. So I think anybody could really see that coming in that sense, at least in the short term. Admittedly, myself, I just kind of wanted a little more of a decisive answer. Like, is he staying or going? And then maybe he doesn't even know himself. And I can't fault the guy for that. It's obviously a very, very complicated situation. John, you were talking about Grayson being very much solidified as a top heel. This was the first time that I can recall hearing a WWE crowd, especially, chanting the words "piece of blank." So they were very, very, very upset about Waller attacking Gargano here. And Eddie saying that Grayson hated so much for this attack here by the live crowd. People on Twitter definitely seem to be down on it as well. Yeah, but definitely, I mean, there's something said for that. Josh Heffer saying that's how you get heat. And I will say, yeah, I'm watching this and I was legitimately like pissed off. I was like, oh my gosh, they're doing my guy Johnny like this. I can't believe it. And like, yeah, I know that's how wrestling works. Right? Like I understand that, but at the same time, like to me, there is kind of a difference of like actually being kind of like pissed off, and like being mad at a heel doing a heel thing, where it's like if this were a storyline, again, you could kind of safely assume, oh, Gargano's going to come back, he's going to get revenge. We don't know that. So that's to me is why I was pretty upset about it. But again, more thoughts coming in. Eddie Suarez saying he does not think Gargano's going to leave, doesn't know what's going to happen. Again, maybe he'll take time off with his wife. I think that's a safe bet at this point, but we're very much in the dark about what would happen after that. And again, others are saying that it's predictable that they're going to be beat down the way they did to officially write them off. I would agree. Shawnee Koff pointing out that that's what WWE usually does. DJ as well, saying this is kind of some more par for the course in that sense. But and yeah, and then John, you had said you didn't even know it was Waller, but Milligan saying that he wasn't expecting to be Waller, and part of it for me that was part of it as well. It's like I didn't think it'd be Waller. I'd be like, if they wanted to make Braun Breaker this top heel, that'd be a great way to do it. But then, as you said about Waller, then you could very much, pretty much confirm that he will not be a babyface anytime soon. Steven was saying he thinks Gargano would be back in the spring. Lots of thoughts about what might happen next year, and you just don't know. Herman saying John Duke to AEW confirmed, definitely not confirmed, but it does remain an option here among other things that are on the table. So, boy. Well, Saving Chambers, interesting comparison. Not sure if I agree, but saying that Waller is Austin Theory 2.0, I agree in the sense that in a very short period of time, he has been built up in the sense that he kind of like arrived, got a pretty. I think his first match that I can recall on 2.0 was against Roderick Strong, and then kind of feuded with LA Knight, didn't do too much, and then all of a sudden, boom, off to the races with WarGames here, and there you go. And now he's attacking Johnny Gargano in this very high profile spot. So, boy, yeah, I mean, I don't want to belabor the point. I could easily sit here and say, "Oh, for up to me," but I thought it would have been maybe a more fitting, satisfying, better, dare I say, better ending for this, at least for the stretch of Gargano's career. Like whether he comes back, whatever happens next, I don't know. But just to give him that moment of saying, "I don't know what's happens next. I'm gonna go be a dad," and then kind of pretty much writing off on that sunset. I know that's not exciting, but sometimes I just want kind of like conclusive outcomes of like, okay, he's going to go away. And then if he comes back, great. And if not, all right. But at least he got kind of that send off and he didn't here and got to press on. So I might as well kind of dive into the complete opposite in a way of another guy that very much his future is uncertain, but he had a more, I'll say, a pretty more firm send off in a way. He had was Kyle O'Reilly facing Von Wagner in a steel cage match at the opening of the show. This was set up after Wagner tried to turn heel on O'Reilly at WarGames. O'Reilly had him scouted, got a steel cage match coming out of it, and here you go. Good match. I thought was fine. Again, Kyle O'Reilly's great. Von Wagner, all right. Not gonna knock the guy. I thought this was good. A good chance for him to be in the spotlight. Still not really seeing like the distinct persona as much, but this was a good way to just kind of make him a heel and give him like some heat, I guess, and that had been kind of lacking previously. So that's a plus. And then so he wins the match here. Definitely a big. He got the rub there, and then he attacks Riley after the match. And much like Gargano, as we were saying earlier, this is a telltale sign that you're writing somebody off for some period of time, whether that's a week, a month, or in the WWE universe forever. Because for all we know, Kyle O'Reilly will be moving on to other things. And again, we don't really know, but with him, Johnny and I were talking about this on Sunday. I just feel like the writing's on the wall. Like I at this point, I could see Gargano staying, go be with the baby and the wife, come back, still be the face of NXT. Everyone's happy. It's great. It just feels like O'Reilly has such a strong link to AEW with Adam Cole and Bobby Fish. And he really doesn't seem to fit with NXT 2.0 of this new emphasis on the characters and the entertainment and the goofiness that we've been seeing. So it's really increasingly hard to overlook some of these things and to think that he actually will be staying. That's Eddie's saying here as well. But John, what do you think about the steel cage match with Von Wagner winning and a fairly kind of clear, at least clear hint that O'Reilly might not be sticking around?
I think it's pretty obvious he's done. I thought tonight kind of indicated that. Some people are making assumptions about where he's going. Who knows? But I definitely think everything you said is pretty much spot on. He doesn't really fit the mold of what they want. I think he just was in the wrong place at the wrong time because he had all that momentum after beating Adam Cole around WrestleMania season. And then these changes are implemented. Of course, Adam Cole leaves. Bobby Fish leaves. You got just Samoa Joe thing went down, and he pretty much left. And the dominoes fell, and I think he was just a matter of circumstance, and he was gone. Not gone as in like left, but I think he was just like he was done for. I don't think he really stood a chance after that. And speaking about the match itself, it was physical. Wagner looked dominant, looked very strong. The goal they had tonight, I thought, worked. A pinfall or submission only steel cage match was a smart idea. Nobody could run away. Post-match attack, also pretty good. It solidified Wagner as well as kind of a heel. So we'll see how much of a bump these two can kind of keep in regards to their momentum moving forward.
Yeah. I do want to point out, Dave J pointing out that on Twitter, thank you Kyle for Kyle O'Reilly is trending. A lot of pictures of him kind of waving to the crowd, making the rounds on Twitter. One person at the show apparently reportedly said that he kind of went around the ring hugging referees and the ringside crew and whatnot. Pretty clear sign that he might not be sticking around. But that's hearsay, right? That's definitely not a firm report or anything. Again, until they officially leave, until they a valid report even breaks that they're gone, we've got to kind of just leave it at who knows. But yeah, no, if he is leaving, this is a good way to, help out the young guy on your way out. And so Von Wagner can be positioned at least for success. Brian Ever pointing out that he's still not sold on Wagner, and looking back on it, saying that O'Reilly needed to be the next NXT champion. John, as you said, I think it's definitely like he was a victim of circumstance and bad timing. Where previously he was very, very underrated in NXT. Then he had this great stretch with matches with Finn Balor and a lot of the top guys. He has feud with Adam Cole, and then John, as you said, the Mojo and everything. It's just kind of, the timing didn't quite line up, and other circumstances got in the way. And he was one of the guys that really got the short end of the stick. And then with the 2.0 revamp, especially with the emphasis shifting away from the wrestling, it's just I think that was almost an inevitable outcome. So yeah, I mean, obviously this is an NXT show, so I don't want to go off in the AEW realm here. But again, I say it's pretty easy to connect those dots. Michael commented, at least in the NXT sense, saying even when they were feuding, Adam Cole had said that Kyle needs him. And ironically now, if Kyle does leave, kind of like a weird like
like it was true.
Yeah. And that's not saying that Kyle doesn't need him. But for me at this point, it's like, as we were saying, it's more the circumstances went the way they did. And with Adam leaving and then Bobby Fish also getting released, Adam left willingly, Bobby Fish got released, and so that made sense. Now, if Kyle also chooses to leave, he makes that choice to be with those guys, to do something which could be pretty cool. So, if he does leave yet again, I was saying, I said it till I was blue in the face on Sunday. If about Johnny, for Kyle O'Reilly, if Kyle leaves, he's been great. I've really enjoyed him on NXT. He's an amazing wrestler. I wish him the very, very best. I'm sure he'll do great things. Whatever comes next. So that was one thing, definitely a big talk point coming out tonight. And yet again, we still don't really know what's going to happen. So one thing that we can seemingly kind of bank on was or I should say, is a future match or a little more to the story for Cora Jade and Mandy Rose. Obviously, Cora Jade had her breakout moment at WarGames, winning the match for her team. She confronts Mandy Rose of Toxic Attraction after she basically said, bring it on. And Cora took her up on it, wearing a sling on her arm, obviously banged up after WarGames. Mandy turned her down, but said, "Hey, I won't. You're not going to be the one to beat me, but I'll still beat you up." And then Raquel Gonzalez kind of backed up Cora Jade to keep that kind of going there. And then they later disagreed about who should get the title shot of the two of them. So maybe some looming can they coexist wonderfulness coming up here. But at the very least, I said this on Sunday. I thought it would make sense to roll with that, where you have this breaker moment for Cora Jade, and she wins the WarGames match, and she gets that established moment for her. That's where she could become this top star. You roll right out of that into this feud with Mandy. It makes sense, and yeah, I say it all the time. I just want things to make sense, John. So at least here we're getting something that makes sense. So I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely made sense. I'm interested to see what they do as far as moving forward. How are they going to book certain things? Who are they going to make look strong? Who are they going to kind of, I don't want to say make look weak, but kind of make vulnerable, I guess you could say that.
Yeah. But someone who has not been looking vulnerable is Cora Jade, because she has just been shining so brightly here. Eddie Zahari, I mean, she's even just going off of your guys' comments in recent weeks, she's really kind of won people over. Eddie here is saying that Cora could be a future women's star in the WWE. And John, she's 20 years old. It's crazy. She had a great run. She kind of got a lot of experience in a pretty short amount of time on the independent scene, and then gets an opportunity to be in WWE, and now she's 20 years old, and she's got a very, very bright future. So it's going to be exciting to see how she continues to grow from here on out. And she also got a kind of maybe someone's blessing when Kaylee Ray gave, as DJ saying, hardcore the green stinger bat. That was one thing we saw tonight, where Kaylee Ray just very briefly popped up, gave her the bat so she could have an equalizer in her feud with Toxic Attraction there. DJ, very, very high on Cora, saying Cora's the best. She's a future Hall of Famer. We'll see about that, but I think she's definitely enjoying a very successful stretch here. And as I said, I think the opportunity is there for her, and if she continues to grow and thrive here, very, very bright future. Looking forward to see what she does. Everyone seems very high on Cora. Brian's saying here that Cora reminds him of AJ Lee, having that potential. No, I like that comparison. I think they have a lot in common from a physical standpoint, from a general personality standpoint. Nash just saying she likes Cora, and Steven saying Cora has a very bright future. So it sounds like our viewers here very much are all aboard the Cora Express here. So if they press all of this, I could see them doing a title match at New Year's Evil. I think that would make sense, even if, much like we just saw on Raw, even if Cora loses, having the chance to kind of prove you can hang with the women's champion. On Raw, it was Liv Morgan with Becky Lynch. That's a win in itself. So at this point, that might be my prediction for that one. But one thing that don't quite know where it's going, we saw Santos Escobar facing Zion Quinn. This was a continuation of the feud between Zion and Legado del Fantasma. Obviously, Elektra Lopez teaching the valuable lesson. There's nothing more dangerous than a woman scorned. Obviously, when Zion Quinn rejected her, essentially, she's been on a warpath ever since. Very, very good match. I've said it before, but Santos Escobar, very, very talented guy. I think he could be an absolute top star for NXT, for the main roster, for anybody. I think he's just got a lot of potential, and he's a very experienced guy. I was listening to an interview he did a while ago. He's been around for, I think, 20 years. He's he's older than he looks, and he's got a lot of experience. So as soon as they if they want to give him that chance, he could easily take the ball and run with it there. But he wound up beating Zion Quinn due to some unusual interference from Legado del Fantasma. Elektra slipped some brass knuckles onto Zion's hand, and the referee kind of caught it. And during the referee trying to stop him from seemingly trying to use the brass knuckles, Santos capitalized on a distraction and pinned Zion for the win. That was very good. maybe CNC not so much ending, but it was a good match. John, what do you think about Zion not getting the win here, and where we might be moving forward with this one?
This is confusing to me because you have people helping other people, but then not helping them, and then you have people winning even though they shouldn't be winning, and it's just all of it is just confusing to me. I don't really understand where they're going, so I really can't make an accurate prediction or guess because I'm just so confused by like what we're really doing here. Like, what's the result they are envisioning? Because normally with these feuds, we can kind of tell like, okay, the end result is this, or they're building towards this. In this case, no idea.
Nope. But Nesha with a prediction or maybe a little bit of analysis here saying that she thinks that Elektra Lopez likes Zion Quinn. And that's clearly, I think, like the underlying thing here is that she likes him, if you will. And she wanted to kind of like maybe start some with him. We said this like weeks ago, and then when we first saw a little kind of hint of this, so that this might be kind of a spiritual successor to Index, of like maybe it's some kind of romance thing, a little bit of forbidden romance kind of thing. And Zion rejected her, so now she's kind of this heartbroken woman, and she wants revenge or whatever, or maybe they'll end up together anyway. After all, it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the holiday season. Maybe they'll have a nice Christmas. I don't know, resolution. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it's going. It was interesting that it was weird the way it was framed. They made it seem like she was trying to help Zion win very, very briefly, and then it turned out to be like the referee was distracted and all that kind of stuff. But definitely unclear about where we might be going. But on the same token, Brian Everett saying maybe we'll see Elektra break away from Legado to align with Zion. That's an option. Especially if the romance here is the preferred direction, I can see that. Especially if they kind of put Index on the back burner, which was kind of hinted at tonight. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I mean, I've been enjoying having that kind of. As long as it's a good storyline, I think it's cool to have like a romance kind of play out on NXT. I've made it no secret. I love the Index stuff. It's a variety show, especially now in the 2.0 era. Why not like lean on the fact it's an entertainment show? Like you've made it so clear, it's not really a wrestling show. Not the bottom line. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll get the second NXT romance here in this case of Elektra and Zion. I think could be pretty good. One thing that was not pretty good, John, that I was hoping would be good, that I thought would be good, that I thought would entertain me and satisfy me, and it didn't, was the reveal of the MSK Shaman. John, I have seen too much Riddle on my screen this week. It is a Tuesday night now. We're coming off of Raw, where they had like segment after segment after segment of Riddle and RK Bro and the RK Bronament, and you roll. Thankfully, this is one segment. Okay, I'm not criticizing NXT overall for having too much Riddle, but the cumulative effect of I'm on a Riddle overdose right now, and the fact that I thought this would be not this, like John, you and I were just saying Sunday night, we thought it would be somebody new. You had said something that we haven't even seen before. I was thinking maybe a return of some sort. And granted, this is technically a return because Riddle wasn't in NXT, but I meant like an Elias or something. Riddle. And DJ's like, where's it going? Like, what is there an end game? Is there a future here? Was this the plan, or did they kind of stumble onto this one? They had the reveal, and Riddle was trying to teach MSK his ways using his not some mysterious substances that they all like to use, but I don't know, man. This and the ending with Gargano like definitely left a bad taste in my mouth. I'll say that much.
This was without a doubt very disappointing because when you're looking at all of the possibilities that we had discussed, I don't think we ever even envisioned it could have been this. But at the same time, like this comment doesn't make sense. Like, how did we not just connect those dots? Like the marijuana, the weed, just everything in general. Like Riddle would be who comes to mind, but like that's how I don't know. Whatever word you want to call it. It's just we had no idea, and I don't think this is going anywhere. To be frank, I just think this is a one-time deal.
That's the impression I got. Yeah.
But looking at when they did this and kind of how they introduced this to be him was just so random.
Yeah.
And the fact that all he really did was tell them to be themselves. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how this really benefits MSK. Granted, maybe a brief. If you like this, if you're like, oh hey, it's Riddle, cool, he's with MSK. If you actually like that, you probably like this, and you're like, okay, cool. You know, they got the rub there of being in the segment with Riddle. And obviously it makes sense. The MSK, formerly the Rascals, and Impact, they had a lot of segments where they were. I guess I'll just come out and say getting high, and that was very much the clear subtext. And that's what they were pretty much trying to kind of not pay tribute to, but very much along that same vein here. And that's just saying she enjoyed it. Again, I can knock this stuff till as much as I want. I never mean like, hey, you shouldn't enjoy it. If you enjoyed it, like that's great. I'm glad. Like all I want is for everyone in the comments to enjoy a show, or at least enjoy our show, as maybe if sometimes that we don't enjoy whatever show we're covering. But if you like what we're talking about, that's great. I'm not telling you, hey, you shouldn't like that. That is never my intention there. And then John, as you said, like in a way it was so obvious and I overlooked it. And so maybe I'm partially frustrated with myself because like I like mysteries and I just overlooked several obvious hints there, with Nesha pointing out for the one segment they had what was in the bag. Obviously they had some substances in that bag. And that's very much something that Riddle is known for.
We all knew what it was.
Yeah. And I overlooked it. I am not an ace detective. I'll say that much. Yeah, but no, I don't know. It's fine, right? Especially in a way, it's like because it's not going to go anywhere. It's like, all right, onward and upward, I guess. If it was like Riddle's return to NXT and we had to deal with him every week, I might feel a little differently. But if this is the one-off, it's the resolution. It's fine. It could have been a chance to do something else. Could have been a chance to have a new character, if you will, and not that the shaman needs to stay around, but I don't know. But this definitely felt like more of a cameo kind of thing that we won't be really following up on, and that's fine. Stephen Chambers agreeing, saying he's getting tired of Riddle. He's asking Randy Orton to RKO Riddle. I imagine we'll get there soon enough. Just gotta wait that one out. But Nash is saying you can never have enough Riddle. So again, that John, you and I talk about this pretty much every Monday. Riddle is very much a divisive figure there. So if you like him, great. Probably enjoyed this. Good for you. If you don't, like me, there are weeks where I like what Riddle does, and there are weeks where it doesn't hit. But we can move on because again, it's probably one-off thing. It doesn't really matter. So one thing that has not been one-off thing. Or I should say two things. Well, hold on. Nesha saying she's saying, I'm sorry, I like Riddle. You don't have to apologize. There's nothing to be sorry about. If you like Riddle, more power to you. Like that's practically my slogan at this point. If you like something and I don't, cool. Like we are allowed to disagree. Wrestling is one of the, or I should say, just entertainment overall is the most subjective thing there is. I'm going to get on a soapbox for a minute, but like just because I don't like something, or John doesn't like something, or any one of us doesn't like something. Another person does, neither one's in the wrong. It's like I just don't like the way the character's written, or the segment came across, or the way that something was booked or followed up on, or whatever. Like that's
or I don't like AEW.
Oh, you.
Hey, you just said.
But everyone. I said it on the show with Robert once, and he lost it, so I'll say it here. My mom told me when I was 5 years old, John, everyone has their own cup of tea. And that is a very true thing, especially with wrestling, where it's like you can love NXT 2.0, you can love Monday Night Raw, you can love AEW, you can love John's shaking his head, absolutely. You can love it, like whatever it is, right? And whatever it is, and any other person could have that same cup of tea. I mean, now I'm running with a metaphor. They drink it. They're not gonna like it the same way you do. Everyone has their own taste, and that is the way wrestling works. That is the way entertainment works. I'm not trying to get in a rant here, but like necessarily you gotta apologize. Like I'm not trying to like crap on Riddle, but like no, there are weeks as or this like this reveal I was kind of like curious about, and Riddle being the big reveal was a letdown. Michael was oh my gosh, we're getting off on a food tangent here. Michael's saying not everyone makes a good cup of tea. It's like mac and cheese, it's just not good like your mama makes it. For me, it's funny because like, I love coffee, and there are times I literally make my own cup of coffee, and I don't measure it. So sometimes it turns out great, and it's just a random crapshoot. And sometimes I don't measure it right, and it turns out very watery, and it's awful, and that's my fault. But like I don't know where I'm going with that, but that's just not what I thought about with Michael there. But yes, wrestling, entertainment, like all of it, it's very subjective. If I like something and you don't, that is fine. I'm not going to knock you for it. I'm like, not at all.
Well, you want to talk about something that we don't like? Huh?
Jacket time?
Well, no, but yes. Whoever the heck Valentina Feroz and Ulisa Leon are, which maybe I've just been living in a cave, but they took on Toxic Attraction tonight, and I was like, what is going on? Toxic Attraction is not a team that is supposed to squash people. The match was messy. It was a squash, and it still felt like it went on too long. And I have to be honest, like, Toxic Attraction has not proved themselves against any top competitors at all yet. We keep getting a rivalry tease between Cora Jade and Mandy Rose, but now there's a sling on her arm. Like, okay, so what's going on there? Rose cannot be like a Isaiah Swerve Scott and not defend the title for the next 3 or 4 months. That doesn't work, and then he loses it on like the first defense. Man, Luke says it's done 65 plus. I mean, of course. While you're not wrong there, it's the fact that for people that are actually watching for more than what Mandy says they're watching for during her promos, I would like to see now that they have solidified themselves as Jerry Lawler would say, eye candy. They need to actually do something in the ring, whether it be skill wise or even story wise, that makes sense and builds up to something. But I'll let you give your opinion on that. But I want to lead into the fact that I think we did get a tease of potential female team with Indy Loomis backstage in a promo that we saw there that I think might set that up. So go ahead and give me your thoughts on the Toxic Attraction, and then you can lead into this your best part of the show, the index. Go ahead.
Right, you are.
Puppies, Luke. Puppies.
Oh boy. There's lots to dig into. Nash just saying she loves Jay Lawler. She's not even a great guy. He just signed a new WWE contract, so he'll be sticking around in the world of WWE. John's pumping his fist. More power to you. Boy. Well, the thing is with Toxic Attraction, yeah, they're not a team that has beaten a lot of top level competition or really done much as a duo, as a champion since they won the titles. But for that very reason, this is why they kind of needed something like this. They beat a team of, as DJ had said, woman jobbers, for lack of a better word. And they're not jobbers in the sense of like enhancement talent. I think Valentina definitely has been on 205 Live. Blank on the other name. I think they've both on 205 Live, and they are lower on the totem pole of people that are kind of starting out, and they're not the champions. So it would make sense to have a squash match where it's not so much about a squash of like a powerhouse beating somebody. It's more that they're the champions, so they can easily beat this team pretty quickly and not have it be this big competitive match. So that's fine. And whatever happens next, if it's Cora Jade feuding with Mandy, if it's Raquel, team up with Mandy. Someone had said that before in the comments here. Then we might see that, and then spinning off and do a thing with Mandy. I'm not quite sure how the cards are going to follow there. We're talking with the one study. So here, Brian Everett saying he thought Caden and Casey were in line for a title shot. I think they're in line. I don't know if they're gonna do that, but they're one of the few teams they've got at this point. So I'd imagine that's at least an option on the table they should do. Now should point out she was one that said they should do that Cora and Raquel teaming up there. So yes, a good speculation there. No, I would imagine we'll probably see that because they don't have a lot of teams otherwise. Brian said a minute ago he thought the women's division is weak here. I don't think it's weak overall. I think they don't have a lot of depth in the women's tag division, and that's really the problem. That's been the problem really since they introduced the titles. Like we said it months ago, they should have just had the one set of women's tag titles, then had to bounce around between NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. So then you've got the ability to have, you don't run into the problem that there's just a clear lack of depth like that. So definitely need tag teams. Definitely need to, especially in the women's division here. So I ain't so much of a problem with this, squash match like that, but. Moving forward, would probably assume that it will be Cora, Jade, Raquel, kind of, and maybe Kelly Ray. Maybe they'll keep the WarGames like thing going, and that makes sense. And also with the squash match, yeah, they lost, but this is ironically kind of the way that Gigi Dolan and JC Jane arrived on NXT. They were losing matches, they weren't really doing much, but they're still getting on the show, and slowly but surely just kind of getting that experience, and then. Maybe getting built as they did, and now we can see with Valentina Furrows getting built up there as well. So, I didn't so much of a problem with that. I didn't think it was like a great part of the show, but I thought it was like harmless in the sense it was just a good win for Toxic Attraction. So, with that being said, here. Oh, yeah, naturally agreeing that could be that 6-woman tag team. I think that would make sense. Someone had said earlier that we could have Persia Parada probably break. Steven said it. Steven saying Persia could ruin Dexter and Indy. So, John, you had said, and let me set the stage for the ongoing return of Index. We saw Dexter Lewis return at WarGames, snuck out from under the ring. He had a match with Carmelo Hayes tonight. Very surprisingly, Carmelo Hayes did not win this one. Now it was the DQ, and I know. Obviously, it was not like Dexter pinned him, and Dexter was never going to pin Carmelo Hayes. With NXT 2.0, it's 1A and 1B with Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes. They're both very much the leading guys here in 2.0. But I was pretty surprised that they didn't have Carmelo Hayes pin Dexter, because again, that is what 2.0 has been all about. The new guys, really getting established here. It's what we saw at WarGames. So I thought this was a good match. Carmelo attacked Dexter's hand, his injured hand. Trick Williams got involved. Dexter scared him off. Trick saved Carmelo Hayes, pardon me, when he was in the silence. So it feels like we are getting more of that storyline there, which is cool with me. Then later in the show, Indy Hartwell backstage with Persia. Obviously, we've seen it for a couple weeks now. Indy has been very, very distraught over the ongoing absence of Dexter. Now she's very, very happy he's back. And Persia had said, okay, yeah, he's back. So now you got to focus, because you've been off your game. Now it's time to get back on track. So ironically, as we're talking about the women's tag division, maybe now that Indy could focus, maybe they'll rise up the ranks there, or as Steven's saying, maybe we'll have this romance kind of be the team's downfall, and that's been kind of teased here in recent weeks. John's shaking his head. I'm not sure which option you prefer, because you've been an outspoken critic of Index before, so I'd have to assume that you'd want to end at the earliest opportunity, but you don't look too thrilled. Or no, now you're copping. I don't know what you're thinking.
I don't want the team to disband between Indy and Persia. I do, however, would like to see some. I would love to see some Jerry Springer, Mari show drama where Persia gets into it. Her and Dexter are kind of fooling around, and then Indy's like, well, what's going on here? And then it's just kind of a three-way love triangle, and then it all dissolves, and then they all hate each other, and then Index is gone, and then we have a big drama. I'm all about carnage, and this is the perfect way to do it. But I'll be realistic, because it's probably not going to happen. Let's just do it this way. Let's do it where Persia and Indy are trying to focus as a team, and maybe they win a championship or something, and Indy realizes that they need to focus on the team, and Dexter's not happy, and he opens up his suit, and there's the axe. There's the axe. So he pulls out the axe, and we have some kind of story from there.
Remember, John, you remember like a couple weeks ago, like we got off in this like wild tangent, like of this like murder mystery of like one of them we get like killed off, and we go from there. My gosh.
Hey, well, you never know because with all these black and gold contracts coming out, eventually Dexter's contract's going to run out. Maybe he's wanted for murder and he gets locked up and then he's gone.
If Dexter Loomis leaves, that would be an amazing way to write him off. I mean, you mentioned like you're not necessarily thinking it's likely they're going to break up the couple. Stephen Tamer's joking that we could have the divorce, and that reminded me. You remember Law and Otis when Otis and the Miz were in court over the Money in the Bank briefcase? That'd be something that could be pretty fun about having some. And obviously that's a slippery slope.
Everybody has a judge show now. Jerry Springer has one. Steve Wilkos has one. Everybody has one. Why not just give like I don't know, like I mean William Regal wouldn't work because he's never on TV. But there's somebody that maybe Andre Chase or Duke Hudson or somebody give him a court show and have this on there. Who knows? But I do think with Johnny gone and Candace, at least gone for now, the way is pretty much gone. Theory's gone. So you only really have Indy and Dexter, and I don't think it's going to last forever. And of course, it would be weird if they just kind of quit addressing it on TV. I mean, I don't know how they're going to handle it, but I certainly think that this tag team is going to be a challenger for championships because they're really the only ones there.
Yeah, I mean, Brian saying that he likes them, that he compares them to the new Iconics, hopes they don't get split up. Definitely, they could get built up here, but still on the subject of this murder mystery here. Luke saying if something bad happens to Dexter, the number one suspect right here, John Clark. That will be very premeditated, my friends.
Oh man,
John, you're gonna need an alibi if that day ever comes.
Yeah, I guess I will. I'm gonna have to stay on the show here with you to be like, I wasn't there. I'm here with you.
Oh boy, what a time, man! If like the day NXT goes off on that deep end, we've officially lost it. But they've already kind of lost it because they took two teams with not great gimmicks, and now they are doing something with them because Jacket Time.
Party.
I don't know what we're doing. Jacket Time and Grizzly Young Veterans were backstage. They were with Brooks Reed and Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen. Well, I don't even know anymore, man. and
somebody's sleeping under the bar.
Somebody, John. That was Mei Ying. Mei Ying of Tian Shaw. So, like randomly repackaged to be this random person sleeping under the breakfast bar with a sleep mask, just like popping up. I'm like, I don't know, something about that. I'm like, we've officially just like we're off the rails, man. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we've known this is not the NXT that I myself that I once loved, but something about this. You've got Jacket Time. Again, I said on Sunday I missed the segment, but apparently Ike Manjiro was taking a crap backstage in a vignette, and I missed that because of Peacock. So thank you, Peacock, for depriving me of that quality content. And now this.
If you don't have Peacock Premium, you don't see the promos because you see advertisements.
No, man, I got Peacock as part of my phone plan. All right, I'm not going to shell out the extra like $5 a month for Peacock Premium
to see Jacket Time backstage. Go to the bathroom.
Crap. My gosh, man. But what is this? Like, what are we doing?
I don't know. This one. Okay, first of all, this was an odd way to give the Creed brothers a loss because they did lose to Briggs and Benson. All of this is only to set up the next challenger for Imperium. The Creed brothers feel like the most challenging challengers, like the realistic challengers, but their dominant streak is over. Like they just lost just like that. So it looks like Jensen and Briggs are going to get a shot, and they're almost guaranteed to lose. I don't really know. We have all of these rumors and news going on that Walter is potentially interested now in being in the United States. All of these scenarios where will he be in the Rumble? Will he be on Raw? Will he be in NXT? So, I mean, there's a wild card there. Who knows what's going to happen there? And then, of course, I don't know. I came into tonight expecting Johnny Gargano to provide a promo that gave us answers, And with everything that happened tonight, I came out with 5 times as many questions and no answers. Nothing at all was answered tonight. We had no information on. We have a 2-man commentary booth now with Phoenix gone. No information on if we're going to have a third one or go with 2 from now on. I assume we're just going to go with 2. We have no information on anything regarding like NXT Championship picture, like what exactly is going to happen next, when that's going to happen. No build, no announcements or anything for New Year's Evil, of course. And then to top it all off, we basically get the departure of potentially 2 of the biggest stars that have been in at least the brand for quite some time. So just a lot of confusing components to the show to me.
Yeah, and parts of it were good. As I said, I thought the cage match was pretty good. Again, admittedly, good way. I mean, say what you will about Wagner, but that's one thing that does make sense. So that's a good thing for him, and whatever the future does hold for Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano. I'm looking right now. Apparently, after the show, people at the Capitol Wrestling Center were taking pictures, and apparently Gargano is seen hugging Kyle O'Reilly and Shawn Michaels, and is in the ring with Tommaso Ciampa. Pretty clear. At least, or I mean, who knows? Maybe that's just a recognition of the end of the era. Maybe that's a sign of what's to come. But boy, it's sad, man. Especially we talk about it. I'm not going to belabor it, but it's rough. DJ saying NXT's gotten out of control and it's fallen off its rocker. Again, with stuff like some of the things with Jacket Time and some of the other things we've been seeing here, it's pretty wild. And again, it's parts of it are good, and parts I'm kind of here for, and parts of it are just not. But all these things put together, I should say very briefly, we had the thing with Diamond Mine, of the not the Briggs, the Creed brothers losing, and that also set up a match with Braun Breaker and Roderick Strong next week. I'm sure that'll be good. I'm sure that again, admittedly, it feels like that the outcome there feels pretty inevitable. But part of that is also Joe Gacy. He even said tonight he's kind of coming after the 205 Live show name because it's too restrictive. So maybe they are teasing something there. Or not, who knows? But can look forward to that. Andre Chase challenged Tony D'Angelo to a match next week. They had a brief thing backstage as well, and we saw that Harland will be making his in-ring debut. Can expect to see him as Steven saying, or sorry, Steven said the card. Someone said you can expect to see Harland Eddie's saying he'll just be destroying everything, and I would imagine that's probably the case. And I'm sure he'll look great. So I'm looking forward to seeing that next week. But. Yeah, it was an eventful show. Johnny, you had said yourself coming out of the show maybe with more questions than we may have wanted. But overall here, all things considered, what do you think about the NXT tonight?
6 out of 10.
Yeah.
A little below average. The departure of 2 of the biggest stars in quite some time. There was just I don't know. It's changed more. I should have listened to Luke in September, but I didn't, and I gave it a chance, and it didn't work out like I wanted it to. So, what do you think?
Well, real quick here, one brief thing I can touch on. Duke Hudson wore a very, very bad wig because he got shaved on Sunday, and now we're getting a no holds barred match for some reason because Cameron Grimes wanted to prove that he could beat Duke Hudson without cheating, even though he didn't really cheat on Sunday. Fine, so we'll see that next week. The wig was goofy. I'm not. That's not my brand of humor. I'm not really. That's not what I'm here for. But that's in line with NXT 2.0, man. Like that's what they're doing. And that's just saying, who cares about a wig? I mean, yeah, I got a haircut today. Like all about getting a haircut, man. Like I know it's different wrestling, but like I don't care. It's a wig. And if he gets shaved, like rock it, man. You got a bald head. You can pull it off. Go for it, man. But I don't have much to say about it. I'm sure the match will be good. Hopefully, Grimes will win. Hopefully, he'll. I mean, I've seen people tonight saying hopefully he'll get a title shot, or maybe even title reign. But yeah, one of many lackluster things here, the wig and the jacket time stuff, and I didn't care for the specific ending of the show, and really part of my reaction here is just again being kind of more just kind of down. It's like, you know, if Gargano and Kyle are going, which feels likely here, that's a tough pill to swallow. And again, wishing them nothing but the best. But some of the comments here before I get my own number. Eddie saying a 5.7. Steven saying a 6. Hates to see Kyle and Johnny go if they're going. Yeah, it's rough, man. DJ going with a fitting 2.0 rating, saying the show sucked. You know, Brian giving it a 6.5, saying NXT 2.0 took a step back from what was a good WarGames show. Yeah, I actually thought WarGames was good. As someone who's been pretty critical of NXT 2.0 here, I thought the WarGames show on Sunday was very much in line with the takeovers of old, at least as much as it could be. But National with a 6 as well. Herman Takara with 6.5. Luke saying whatever the lowest possible number is out of 10.
So 0. So he gives it a 0.
Or negative if you want to go into the negative.
Well, I heard that he was going to give it an opportunity at New Year's Evil and try to start getting back into it in the 2022. I believe he had put it in his New Year's resolution to get back into NXT, give it another chance. And what perfect time than New Year's Evil when it looks like we might have a new champion. And I don't want to say fresh start, but I like to say NXT 2.5 because it's almost like...
There you go. I mean, I feel like that's where we're going, right? That this opening stretch has been John's laughing. He muted himself, but I don't know. We say it all the time. It's my job. It's our job to be here every week watching it. I'm not a fan of the show as it currently is, and just and I hate to like write it off of like, this is NXT now. I don't like it. But that's kind of what we're looking at. And Brian's saying that he's trying with NXT 2.0, but misses the old NXT. That is very much where I've been since September, especially where I am now coming out of the WarGames show on Sunday. You can hope. You can hope. You know, I cut myself off. You know, with like, let's, you know, I like that kind of the even if you're joking about 2.5, this opening stretch may be a little rough, but if you think, okay, they could have like the crowning moment of Braun Breaker and maybe some other things kind of like as this, again, yeah, John, as you said, not a new beginning, but a soft reset. I don't know, the new year, new NXT, whatever, man. There's something to be said for that if they do wind up doing that, but you know, we will press on. We will, no matter what, we're going to be here. We're going to be here trying to enjoy NXT 2.0. Steven's saying it's hard to get used to. Agreed, but we are trying. We're trying to make the most of it. We're trying to, at the end of the day, we're just trying to make a good show here. Whatever they do on NXT, we try to take that and roll it into a good show over here. And that's our goal here at WrestleZone, whether it's the Raw show on Monday, the NXT show with John and I on Monday, and NXT on Tuesday. Robert and I are going to be here back on Friday as scheduled for SmackDown. DJ testing. I don't
know. I have no idea who that was. Absolutely zero.
I unfortunately missed pretty much the first hour of the show. That was one thing on that first hour or so. Unfortunately, I missed that. I wish I could be more of assistance, but I'm sure some eagle-eyed person on social media probably figured that out. So if I happen to catch it, I'll pass it along. But with that being said, we'll be back here. Whether NXT is great or whether it's not, next week on next Tuesday for NXT 2.0, Robert and I will be here on Friday.
Don't fool yourself.
That we're going to be back.
You said next week whether it's great.
Oh,
there's no whether it's great.
Okay. Hey man, I try so hard to be optimistic. Okay, even on a night like tonight when I am like down about Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly potentially leaving, I try to just like be hopeful. Be like, hey, maybe it'll be okay. Great, maybe in a stretch. All right, but maybe it'll be a good show. We've had some like fairly good-ish episodes. DJ saying I'm tired. My friend, I had 3 interviews today. Okay, I had the privilege of speaking with my favorite wrestler, Matt Cardona, for the second time today. I interviewed 2 Ring of Honor. I said one Ring of Honor star, 1 Ring of Honor stable. The third interview came during NXT, the first hour.
The Rock.
Okay, get out of here, man. I'm interviewing the very, very talented people at Ring of Honor. They've got a great pay-per-view this weekend at Final Battle, literally the end of an era. So I'll be covering that on Saturday as well. But no, if I seem tired, I am tired. All right, it is now 11 o'clock on Tuesday. It's been a long day, but like no matter what, I still come here and try my best to give you all a good show, to enjoy the wrestling with you all, because I always just doing the shows is a highlight of my day. Hearing all of your thoughts, talking to John, talking about this wild world of wrestling here. When it is an absolute privilege to do it, and you know, as long as I can, I try to make it work in terms of if I had an interview, I purposely made it for 8:15 so I could still do the show. I'm rambling now, but the point is, like I try as much as I can to still be here as I can, and to be here because I appreciate you all. I thank you all so very much for listening, for being your consistent, persistent support, whether it's a good episode of NXT or not, whether it's whatever show it is. I appreciate you so much. We thank you so much for listening. It means so very much. As always, all of our shows, all of our interviews, as I said, I've got plenty coming up, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe all of our platforms. And with that being said, John, whatever show it is, whatever it might be, whether it's good or bad or maybe between, we try to do one thing above all others. And can you tell me what that is?
Enjoy wrestling.